You've been lying to yourself every morning in the mirror, and the worst part is, you thought it was helping. Those affirmations you repeat before breakfast, the ones about abundance and love and confidence, they've been quietly reinforcing the exact opposite of what you want. By the end of this, you'll understand why the words stayed empty, and how a single shift in where you speak from changes everything. Here's what a typical morning looks like. You stand in front of the mirror. You say, "I am wealthy." And somewhere behind your ribs, a voice answers back, "No, you're not." That tension between the words on your lips and the feeling in your chest, that's the real affirmation. The feeling always wins. Neville Goddard taught this decades ago, with a clarity that still cuts. The subconscious mind doesn't receive words, it receives states. When you say, "I am wealthy," but your entire body is humming with the frequency of lack, your subconscious reads the hum. The words bounce off like rain on glass. The state soaks in like water through soil. You've been watering the wrong route. Think about the last time you affirmed something you actually believed. Maybe you said, "I'm exhausted." You didn't question it. You didn't need to repeat it 40 times. You said it once, and your whole body agreed. That agreement, that total alignment between thought, feeling, and inner knowing, that's the mechanism. Affirmations work when the entire system is saying the same thing. The problem is, most people use affirmations to try to convince themselves of something they fundamentally doubt. And doubt is a state, a persistent one. When you say, "I am confident," while feeling small, you've created a war inside yourself. Two signals firing at once. Your subconscious doesn't average them out or pick the louder one. It picks the older one, the one with more emotional weight behind it, the one that feels true in your gut, even if it's the version you're trying to escape. You could repeat your affirmation 1,000 times a day. The emotional charge beneath the words would still be running the show. So what actually shifts this? The answer lives in a distinction so subtle, most people walk right past it. The distinction between affirming from wanting and affirming from having, they sound similar, they occupy entirely different worlds. Affirming from wanting sounds like this: "I am attracting abundance into my life." Feel that sentence in your body. There's a reaching in it, a leaning forward towards something that hasn't arrived. The very structure of the sentence assumes distance between you and the thing you desire. You're here, abundance is over there, and you're trying to pull it closer. That pull, that reaching, is the state of lack wearing a costume. Affirming from having sounds different. It sounds like, "I remember when I used to worry about money." Feel that one. There's a settling in it, a relaxation. The sentence places you after the fulfillment, looking back at the old struggle as something finished. Your body doesn't tense toward a future goal. It rests in a completed fact. That rest is the state of fulfillment. That's what the subconscious receives. The difference is posture, internal posture. Goddard called this living in the end. The phrase gets repeated so often in manifestation circles that it's lost its teeth. So let me put them back. Living in the end means you occupy the emotional reality of the wish fulfilled before any evidence shows up in the physical world. You don't hope for it. You don't chase it. You remember it the way you remember breakfast this morning. With calm certainty, with no emotional charge, just a quiet knowing that it happened. This is where most people quit, because it feels like self-deception, and it would be if you believed the physical world was the primary reality. But within the framework Goddard taught, consciousness is the only reality. The physical world is a mirror. It reflects back whatever state you consistently occupy. Trying to change the reflection by touching the mirror, that's what affirmations from wanting do. Changing the expression on your face and watching the mirror follow, that's what affirmations from having do. So how do you actually shift from one to the other? Because understanding the concept intellectually changes nothing. You've probably understood this concept before and still found yourself reaching, straining, begging the universe through clenched teeth. The first move is to stop treating affirmations as tools of persuasion. You're not arguing a case before a judge. You're not building evidence for a verdict. You're selecting a station on a radio. The music is already playing. Every possible version of your life is already broadcasting. Your state is the dial. When you shift your state, you shift what you receive. The words you say are only useful if they help you turn the dial. This means the most effective affirmation might be silence, a feeling held in the body with no words attached to it at all, the feeling of relief, the feeling of gratitude for something already completed. The warmth in your chest when you think about a gift you've already received. That warmth is the affirmation. The words are just handles. Try this tonight. As you're falling asleep, and Goddard emphasized this state specifically because the drowsy border between waking and sleep is when the subconscious is most receptive, don't repeat a sentence. Instead, construct a brief scene that implies your wish has already been fulfilled. If you want a loving relationship, feel the weight of someone's hand in yours, the specific pressure of fingers interlaced, the warmth. If you want financial freedom, feel yourself checking your account with boredom, the calm, unremarkable feeling of sufficiency. Make it sensory. Make it mundane. The mundane quality is what makes it real to your subconscious. Grand, cinematic visualizations trigger excitement, and excitement is a wanting state. Boredom, comfort, mild satisfaction, these are having states. The challenge, and I want to be honest about this, is sustaining it. You'll do this once, feel the shift, and then wake up tomorrow to the same reality that contradicts everything you felt the night before. The mail still has bills, the phone still has no call from the person you're waiting on, the mirror still shows the same body, and every piece of evidence will pull you back into the old state like gravity. This is where discipline enters, and where most teachings get thin. Mental diet, a term Goddard used, means monitoring your inner conversations with the same vigilance you'd give a wound you're trying to keep clean. Every time you catch yourself narrating the old story, you stop. Mid-sentence is necessary. Actually, mid-sentence is better. You interrupt the pattern before it completes, and you gently redirect to the new inner conversation, the one spoken from having. You'll fail at this dozens of times a day at first. That failure is part of the process. Each time you catch yourself and redirect, you're strengthening a new muscle. Each catch gets faster. The gap between the old thought and the correction shrinks. Eventually, the new state becomes your default. The old state starts to feel foreign, the way an old apartment feels when you visit years after moving out. Familiar, but yours in the past tense only. Some people hear all this and think it means suppressing negative emotions, stuffing doubt down and plastering a smile over it. That approach creates pressure, and pressure always finds a crack. The shift I'm describing is gentler than suppression. When doubt arrives, you acknowledge it the way you'd acknowledge a child tugging your sleeve. You look at it, you feel it fully for a moment, and then you return to your chosen state. The doubt loses power each time you do this because you've stopped feeding it with resistance. Resistance is attention. Attention is energy. Energy sustains states. Consider what this means about every affirmation practice you've tried before. Every vision board, every scripting session, every I am statement repeated in the shower, the ones that worked, and some did, even if you called it coincidence, were the ones where you accidentally slipped into the state of having while you said them. You felt it in your body for a moment, a flash of genuine knowing. The words didn't do the work. That flash did. And the ones that failed, the hundreds of affirmations that dissolved into nothing, you were speaking from the wrong side of the bridge the entire time. The bridge itself is feeling. Only feeling. A skeptic within this framework might ask, if it's all about feeling, why bother with words at all? Fair question. Words serve as anchors. They give structure to a state that might otherwise be too slippery to hold. A well-crafted phrase spoken from the right state can lock you into that state, the way a melody locks you into a mood. The phrase, "Isn't it wonderful?" one Goddard suggested, works because it's vague enough to bypass specific doubts while anchoring a general feeling of fulfillment. You can say it about anything. Your subconscious fills in the details. But the phrase alone, without the feeling, is just syllables vibrating in air. Tonight, when you close your eyes, choose one thing. Just one. The relationship, the career shift, the healing, the home, whatever pulls at you most, and instead of asking for it, thank yourself for it. Feel what your body feels on the other side of its arrival, the specific physical sensation of life after the wish fulfilled. Sink into that feeling the way you sink into a warm bath. Let the water close over you. Your old affirmations were letters sent to an address you were standing outside of, peering through the window. The new ones are journal entries written from inside the house, after you've already unpacked and hung your pictures on the wall. Walk through the door. You already have the key. You've been holding it this whole time, mistaking it for something you still needed to find.